Life is going to change on you, and you need to adapt to it. For those of you who've been watching these videos back to back to back, you may have noticed the plant behind me is moving. It's getting closer. It's getting bigger. Actually, it's not. I'm just moving that way because the sun is chasing me. Remember the sun? The one that was like washing me out in the first video? Well, I move forward to avoid it. Problem solved! Let's record some videos. And then it started creeping in on me. More than that, the position that had been comfortable, I had the camera at a certain height, I was comfortable, I was feeling good, and then I was getting more and more uncomfortable doing it. I think because the longer I record these videos, the more my spine compresses and the shorter I get. So I had to adjust the camera down to work. No big deal. Simple adjustments. Easy. But often in our lives, we don't have any point in the process to stop and readjust. We are simply doing. And we optimize to use the resources we have, all of them, which means we don't often have resources left to deal with the things that come up in our lives. Right? I live in a house. It's a pretty nice house. It's got some character, but it doesn't need much except for when it does. So the house is the place where I do my stuff. My energy is going into all my stuff I'm doing. And when the house needs something, I don't have spare resources for the house. Now, I've set up financial systems where we're putting away money so we have a reserve fund. So when we do need money for the house, we have it. So we don't get clobbered that way. But if it needs time or energy or attention or, oh, I've got to call someone, I don't know who I'm supposed to call and how we're going to take care of this and all this freaking thing, right? I don't have that. And so sometimes I may, and perhaps you do this as well. Maybe it's just me. Maybe this is just my problem. Perhaps you do this as well, that you see the problem and then you choose not to see the problem. Is it really a problem? Is it that bad? Is it that? Do I need to do that? I'm sure it's fine. We'll deal with it later. And then it gets worse and worse and worse. And the situation doesn't improve. Now, I was able to quickly adapt to the sun because, I haven't been doing this for a year. I've been doing this for an hour. And so that makes it a little bit easier to kind of be in that method of adaptation. But once you get a groove going, once you're set up, you're like, this is set. All good. Don't need to do the setup process anymore. Just need to execute. And then you got to set up again. My point here is to always be aware of where those changes may be necessary. Just because you set it up once doesn't mean things didn't change on you. Doesn't mean that maybe your tripod is loose and your camera's sliding down. Mine isn't, but maybe yours is. The sun tends to move. Well, technically the sun doesn't move, the earth moves. Well, technically the sun does move, but that's not what affects us. That's astronomy. We're not talking about astronomy. But the sun, relative to where we are, moves across the sky. And it is important to accept that that's going to happen. People change and adapt. Your customers, if you have a business, may change. Your family will grow. Your child, who you totally had it locked in when they were 7, now that they're 13, is a whole different animal, a whole different person. And you need to be able to adapt to that. The only constant in life is change. And you need to be ready to adapt to those changes, which means not consuming every available ounce of resources you have, because you will always need more to adjust. But here's the good news. Sometimes what happens is you say, I've dialed this in as precisely as I can, and I can't do it anymore. This is the most efficient we can be. And then things change. You say, I've already dialed it in as much as I can. You dialed it as much as you could then, but it is now. So now you have more knowledge and resources, and the situation is different, which means maybe you could actually dial it in even tighter and be even more precise and more effective because you are able to adapt as things change. Your life and the world around you is in a constant state of change, and you must get loose. Be ready to adapt. And if you do so, the result is you won't have to deal with things changing on you in a way that catches you off guard. And sometimes things will even get better when you thought they otherwise might have gotten worse.